Christianity in this sense is not working, particularly this inability of the Christian world to respond in any effective way to the destruction of the planet. Religion is assuming no responsibility for the state of the earth, for the fate of the earth. It's concerned for suicide, homicide, genocide, but cannot deal with biocide or geocide. Biocide, the killing of the life systems themselves. Geocide, the killing of the planet itself. We have no morality to deal with it. But I somehow, when I was...
For more than 20 years, Father Thomas Berry, a New York-based Passionist priest and a pioneer in what today is called eco-theology, brought his ideas to an annual colloquium held in Port Burwell, Ontario, at Holy Cross Centre for Ecology and Spirituality, a retreat centre run by the Canadian Passionists. From the beginning, Thomas Berry's talks, and indeed his very presence, created a community of theologians, academics, and ordinary people from all walks of life, who would take up his challenge to find new ways of responding to the ecological crises of modern times.
Survive without ambivalence. And that's where the capacity to sustain ambivalence seems to be the quintessential, essential thing. The ambivalence of the religious structure without abandoning it. The ambivalence of our society without abandoning it. The ambivalences of the automobile, and I'm ready to abandon that. And the airports. But there does exist...
Thomas Berry, he had these remarkable abilities to make these connections with people and inspire them one by one, as well as in huge groups, to get us to see the connections that he saw, these deep and underlying connections between Western Christian tradition and our sort of loss of our reverence for nature and what that was doing to us and what it would do to us.
When I saw him in 1977 giving the talks at Port Burwell, I said, this is going to be a big learning experience for me. I knew that I was going to, I was into a learning place that I didn't even expect that I needed, And it was, it's not like he presents it as, you should do something. There's something that he has that kind of ability to invite people into the seriousness of something without making them, feel bad. Like he presents the problems by showing, by attraction, like the sense of the beauty of the earth, the sense of the divine, the sense of the sacred.
Thomas Berry and mathematical cosmologist Brian Swimme would become collaborators in bringing together a new synergy between science and theology, co-authoring the universe story, and together laying out a new understanding of what it means to be human, religiously, spiritually, and ethically, within the new scientific understanding of life on planet Earth.
But in the book, what we're celebrating is what we regard as the most significant discovery in science, namely the discovery that the universe is a developing reality.
It was fitting that Brian Swimme would provide a keynote address on the occasion of the first anniversary of the Elliott Allen Institute for Theology and Ecology at the University of St. Michael's College.
The universe has a beginning. The universe develops. The universe is going somewhere. We are the generation that is discovering its place in the story of the universe. The challenge before us is, what does it mean to be human in this ongoing, developing universe?
The Institute opened the door to a whole line of deep order inquiry that's absolutely necessary for the times that we're living. Like it's relevant. Theology has to be alive. What Steve Dunn was able to do was to position the important aspects of connecting theological concerns with ecological concerns, and not just sort of ecological problems of, climate change, consciousness, you know, something that's a deeper order, and connecting it to the sacred.
Steve's courses were different. They weren't taught in the way that most courses were taught. He wanted to engage your imagination, your critical thinking, your life experience.
Today, Dr. Dennis Patrick O'Hara carries on the direction of the Elliott Allen Institute of Theology and Ecology, and with that, the dual legacy of founding director Father Stephen Dunn and Father Elliott Allen, whose approach to teaching theology is legendary.
Elliott Allen was a Basilian priest who had been dean at the Faculty of Theology at St. Michael's. And people speak so glowing of him, and what a forward thinker he was, what an inventive person he was, what a supportive person he was. So when we were thinking about naming the Institute, we thought Elliott Allen typified what the Institute would be about. So part of what we're interested in is what drew you to study here at this time, and where do you want to take it?
I just found in Barry's cosmology such an inspiring vision, and he's kind of the foundation of everything that we do here. So that's what I wanted to take advantage of here.
It just seemed like a good fit to make eco-theology part of my focus. And so I joined the Institute because I feel like this community really supports the work I'm trying to do.
I'm hoping to go on, continue writing and researching, but also teaching, and just being able to bring this work further into academia through those methods.
Working on my master's thesis, and I came to the conviction that we cannot talk about social justice in isolation from ecological justice, and that will help me to articulate a position for the Catholic Church in Nigeria on issues of ecological justice.
Well, you're that good.
What Thomas Berry began with his thinking, writing, and speaking lives on in the Elliott Allen Institute of Theology and Ecology. Through new generations of eco-theologians who came to the Institute to face deep challenges and then brought new ways of thinking to their students, readers, clients, and audiences.
So they'd go back into psychotherapy or back into architecture or back into medicine or back into being an educator. And they would take the learning that they had acquired at the Institute and then disseminate it, multiplying the effect of that learning through the work that they were doing.
When it came to designing St. Gabriel's, really we knew we had to design sustainably. We knew we had to design a building that would be in and of itself a form of catechesis to give not only a tangible expression of Thomas's eco-theology, but also be an opportunity for pedagogy, for teaching that to others.
We need to think about what Rachel Carson says. The more clearly we can focus our attention on the wonders and realities of the universe about us, the less taste we shall have for destruction. So this is a picture from the Hubble telescope of galaxies colliding. There are many other major realities with a great deal of energy going on elsewhere, and that should help keep us humble and spiritually awake. Thank you very much.
Brian Swim uses the word geotherapy, and aha, that was my word. And so now I'm working in palliative care. And I find as people are coming towards the end of their life, they are often very frightened. They're very concerned about what their life has meant to them. And so that's when I sneak in my little bit of geotherapy. I try to help them realize that dying is part of living, and that really basically we come from the earth and we return to the earth. And so it's in a way has turned into kind of a practice of mindfulness.
I went and talked to Dr. Dennis O'Hara, And I said, Dennis, would you think of partnering with the Sisters of St. Joseph at our retreat center in Coburg? And he was most enthusiastic. We offered this course, which is Eco-Theology, Faith and Practice, for credit for the very first time this last summer. It is also going to be on the course list for the next summer. This course is also a marker of what the Elliott Allen was about and what Steve urged his students to do in terms of their theological work. The idea of wholeness, of interrelatedness, which is what cosmology and the universe story is all about. It's focusing on that relatedness.
If you're willing to examine the presuppositions, the values, the attitudes that have gotten us into this mess and reject them, and to think about a new way of being, to do what Thomas Berry says, to reinvent the human. If you're willing to do that, then the Elliott Allen Institute for Theology and Ecology is an excellent place for you to study.
I don't think that any theology or religion, it doesn't have to be Christian theology, I don't think any religious teaching at the moment is relevant or even worthy of development if it doesn't, to some degree at least, understand the ecological problem and respond to it.
The painful part is awaken to those who are benefiting from a system that's oppressive to change the way they live and love within the world. That means our economics, our market plans, our social analysis.
Tom Berry is not asking us to invent something new in Christianity. What he's really trying to do is to get us to remember what's been forgotten.
New cosmology is a context, our fundamental reality. New cosmology is not just a theory.
We have to study ecology and theology together. I strongly recommend the Elliott Allen Institute because it is the best place to study ecology and theology at the same time.
To the Institute of Ecology and Theology at St. Michael's and to the founders of SAME, I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your courage, for your wisdom, for your generosity, for your tenacity.